In 1980, an Argentine paleontologist named Mario Hünicken uncovered an extraordinary fossil. What it immediately appeared to be was possibly the largest spider ever known to science. The fossil was recovered from the Paleromember of the Bajo de Vélez Formation of Argentina, which has been dated to the Carboniferous period, 303 to 298 million years ago. Hünicken named this species Megarachne servinei, which translates to great spider. With an estimated body length of 33 centimeters, or 13 inches, and a leg span estimated to be 50 centimeters, or 20 inches, Megarachne servinei would have been the largest spider to have ever existed, exceeding the Goliath bird-eater tarantula, which has a maximum leg span of around 30 centimeters, or 12 inches. Because of its status as the largest spider to have ever lived, Megarachne quickly became popular, with illustrations in books and magazines, as well as reconstructions of the specimen in museums throughout the world. But in an astonishing twist of fate, this so-called giant spider was not a spider at all. A second fossil discovery in 2005 provided a more complete specimen consisting of preserved parts of the front section of the body, as well as cocci, which are the first segment of a spider's walking leg, and possibly from the fourth pair of appendages. These were recovered from the same location and geologic bedding as the prior find. In light of this information, paleontologist and arachnologist Paul Selden, alongside Hünicken, re-examined the original fossil. They concluded that Megarachne servinei was a large Eurypterid, a group sometimes known as sea scorpions, and not a spider. As it turned out, Megarachne did not share the defining features of spiders. Some arachnologists at the time of the discovery had their doubts, even back then. While its body might have resembled a spider's, the structure of its exoskeleton and appendages were much more similar to those of Eurypterids, an ancient group of arthropods that share a common ancestor to spiders. Eurypterids, sometimes referred to as sea scorpions, were aquatic arthropods that thrived during the Paleozoic era, but some, like Megarachne, were able to adapt to life in shallow freshwater environments, or even at times on land. This explains the large size and unusual anatomy of the Megarachne, traits typical of Eurypterids, not spiders. Aquatic Eurypterids were at their peak during the Silurian period, around 420 million years ago, but by the later Devonian period, they had mostly evolved to live in and around tidal flats, rivers, swamps, and estuaries. Eurypterids are divided into two suborders, the Eurypterina and the Styloneurina. The Eurypterina possessed a pair of swimming appendages coupled with walking legs. Eurypterine Eurypterids are sometimes informally known as swimming Eurypterids. The swimming Eurypterina mostly disappear from the fossil record by the mid-Devonian, though a few remained into the Carboniferous period. It is theorized that predation from large-jawed fish and climate fluctuations led to their decline. The Styloneurines, which include Megarachne, only had walking appendages. They were able to adapt to life away from the open seas, slowly moving further inland to freshwater rivers and swamps. The Eurypterids are fellow chelicerates, which include horseshoe crabs, scorpions, and spiders. The Chelicerata are a diverse group of arthropods possessing a pair of anterior appendages that function as a method of feeding. For example, spider chelicerae are often modified into fangs and are attached to venom glands used to subdue prey, whereas the chelicerae of horseshoe crabs and the extinct Eurypterids often take the form of segmented and barbed pincers used for feeding. The chelicerae of Eurypterids such as Megarachne would be used to rake through the substrate, shred up the prey, and function as a de facto hand to bring the food into the mouth. Megarachne would have spent its days raking through the bottom sediment of swamps and rivers, looking for smaller, soft-bodied prey including worms, mollusks, and possibly even fish. Once in the grip of the chelicerae, the sharp appendages would puncture and shred the prey for consumption. So, how did a creature like Megarachne end up on land in the first place? To understand that, we need to look at the evolution of Eurypterids and the environment of the Carboniferous period. The Styloneurines, with their long, capable walking legs, were able to migrate further away from the seas and adapt to the ever-growing freshwater swamps and rivers. The land was lush and humid, with vast wetlands and shallow pools, perfect conditions for Eurypterids to flourish. The ancestors of Megarachne had evolved from aquatic arthropods to creatures capable of venturing onto land, just as early land-dwelling arthropods would later give rise to spiders, millipedes, and other terrestrial species. As Eurypterids migrated into new habitats, their bodies adapted to the shifting environment. Some species evolved into smaller, exclusively aquatic, bottom-dwelling forms, while others, such as Megarachne, evolved less aquatic body plans, developing powerful limbs and specialized hunting strategies. The inland wetlands of the Carboniferous period presented fewer large predators capable of threatening these larger Eurypterids, unlike the seas, which were home to formidable creatures like the shell-crushing, eel-like shark brachiodonts. The jawed fish of the Carboniferous seas had developed anatomical features such as teeth and tooth plates to crush the hard shells and exoskeletons of the invertebrates and arthropods. The swimming Eurypterids went into a great decline during this period. Upon a cursory look, it's not difficult to see how Hünicken had mistaken this fossil for a spider. The cephalothorax, abdomen, legs, and chelicerae that were visible on the fossil are nearly identical to the body structure of a spider. The parts that were missing, such as the segmented tergites and long stinger-like telson, were absent in the initial find. The unusual and bulbous anteridian plate behind the carapace on Megarachne was oval-shaped with striations that resembled the hairy abdomen of a spider, such as the tarantula, belonging to the arachnid order Mygalomorph. After the second, more complete fossil was discovered, comparisons to known Eurypterids became apparent. Megarachne had features very similar to other styloneurine Eurypterids in the Mycteropodidae family. Though Megarachne is unique, it had anatomical features equivalent to styloneurine Eurypterids such as Woodwardopterus. The story of Megarachne is a testament to the complexity and unpredictability of evolution. For years, scientists misclassified this creature based on a few visible traits, leading to an incomplete understanding of its true nature. But as more evidence was discovered, so too did our ability to peel back the layers of time and uncover the true history of life on Earth. The realization that Megarachne was not a giant spider, but an ancient Eurypterid, has important implications for how we think about the development of life on land. It shows us that the paths taken by life are not always linear. Evolution doesn't follow a strict, predictable course. It adapts to the changing environment, sometimes taking unexpected turns. When Hünicken found the fossil, there was no reason to believe that a Eurypterid would be found within that formation. The stratigraphic layer in which Megarachne was uncovered contains land-based fossils of plants, trees, giant insects, and early arachnids. At the time of the discovery, all Eurypterids were believed to have been strictly aquatic organisms. To find a Eurypterid there just wouldn't have made sense. The area in which Megarachne was found would have been miles inland on the supercontinent of Gondwana during the Carboniferous period. Megarachne serves as a reminder that evolution is full of surprises. What we once thought was a giant spider turned out to be something even more extraordinary, a link in the story of how life transitioned from the oceans to the land. It also shows us how much we still have to learn about the creatures that once shared the earth with us. Megarachne may no longer be the giant spider we once imagined, but it's still a creature worthy of awe. Whether as a giant arachnid or a land-dwelling Eurypterid, it remains a symbol of the ancient world, a time when the boundaries between sea and land were blurred and bizarre creatures roamed the earth. What other mysteries lie hidden in the fossils of the ancient world, waiting for us to uncover? Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share for more content like this. Until next time, goodbye friends.